Welcome everybody to Hey Diddle Diddle. It is the podcast where we try to figure out why the heck that cat decided to play the fiddle. All the seriously, like a washboard. I mean, they got claws. It's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm Andrew O'Hara here with the diddle expert, Steven Robles. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I mean, obviously, you need opposable thumbs, I assume, to play the diddle. So I don't know how the cat does it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a few HomeKit news, and I have my house project is going up, and I'm going to ask the listeners once again. What's that Bernie Sanders meme? I'm asking you once again for your help and input as I get my house ready to move in. So anyway, we'll talk about that. The one piece of news, it was like CES was the spike, and then just a drop, like a sugar crash of news here. I don't know if anyone's ever used that analogy, but the Aqara curtain motor and motion sensor has been revealed in a Slovakian store where they surface, but they're not for sale yet. But these look like new products that will be coming from Aqara. This is much like the SwitchBot curtain thing. Like if you had heard us talk about that before, it's basically this robot device that you hang on a curtain rod, and the little motorized wheel actually pushes it back and forth, that pushes then the curtain, open or closed. And so it looks like Aqara is getting into that game, which means it should be HomeKit compatible if you want to have a curtain mover thing. That'll be there. Again, no price or release date. We don't know when this will come, but yeah, that's cool. They're getting in the game. There you go.
So these aren't this isn't entirely like HomeKit related, but they were still two product releases this week, and since we have such a light amount of news, two cool MagSafe devices came out this week.
Oh.
And I was kind of into, did you see both of them?
Was one the Belkin puck? Was it the
one
Belkin
came from
MagSafe
Belkin,
puck?
and one came from Mophie.
Oh, I didn't see theirs. What they got?
Okay, well, you can go look at the Mophie one real quick because you'll want to look at pictures. So the Belkin one, there's interesting things with both of these. So the Belkin one, it's really cool. I think this idea is brilliant, but basically it's a 2-meter long nylon braided cable which attaches to an official MagSafe puck, like legit official MagSafe puck, 15 watts of wireless power, and they have a built-in little kickstand to it, so you can prop your phone up at the same time. Now, it's like,
I see it.
The problem here is that it is $60.
Shoo.
$60 for a cable, which is a lot. Yeah. But I see how they got there, but it's still hard to stomach that price for a cable, because Apple's charging $40 for their standard MagSafe cable, and Belkin has to pay MagSafe licensing fees as they are licensing it MagSafe from Apple. They have to go through the certification process to make sure everything is up to par. And they have to buy, official MagSafe components. They can't just, grab anyone and then just go with it. So they've got all of the, compared to Apple's, it's a twice as long cable. It is a nylon braided reinforced cable, and you have a kickstand built in, and it still delivers the same amount of power. So is all of that worth the $20 difference between what Apple offers? And I don't know. I think it's a lot of okay, if you just looked at that, okay, I can see why that's worth $20 more. But then when you say, okay, that means the price is $60, then you're like, holy crap, I feel like I just got kneecapped over a cable. It just seems like a lot for a cable. So I'm very torn. I had opinions on it. It's been bothering me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I saw this come out. The kickstand thing feels a little weird, you would only be able to use this MagSafe puck from one direction. So if you want it on your desk and you wanted to use the kickstand, it has to come in from the one way, because the kickstand's only one direction. But I don't think $20 more is worth it for a kickstand. And I was looking at Anker's. They have a new, well, it's not new, it's a couple months old, but they're new MagSafe lineup of things, including desk chargers and stuff. One is the magnetic charging station Mag Go. It's this little ball with a thing. I mean, it's $100, but it also has other plugs in it, and you can charge with MagSafe, and you could have it on your desk. Or they have their the cylinder type one. Did you review one of those? Did you get one?
No, but I did. I mean, I've seen them. I looked at them at
Yeah.
CES again. We'll probably
Right.
have reviews up soon on a lot of their MagSafe line. It was kind of like dribbling out a little bit at a time, but
Yeah.
yeah, I know
And
what you
that
mean.
that Anchor one is $80. So it's like for $20 you can get a nice desk stand that not only MagSafe charges your phone, but also has a little platform for your AirPods. So I don't know if it is worth
But I think those are like
that.
two different like markets. I mean, this is clearly. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't necessarily like a desktop solution. I mean, this is still a cable, one that you can take with you anywhere. It's got the kickstand built in for you watching videos and stuff like that. And if you want an actual MagSafe cable that's longer than a meter, this is your only option. You don't
That's true.
have another choice.
That's true.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
torn.
don't
Someone's
know.
like, well, I wish Apple would have released a 2 meter version. I'm like, but they'd probably still charge you 50, $60. Like, they're not going to charge you less than that.
Right, it's not gonna be 40 like the 1 meter. It'll be 50
No,
or
and
60. Yeah.
some people have pointed out like there's third party ones like ESR, like we've talked about them a lot, and they have a little metal one that's nice that is powered over USB-C, so you can put in as long of a cable as you want, and it's got a kickstand built into it. But again, the problem with those is it's not MagSafe certified. You're getting 5, maybe 7.5 watts of power max. It's just going through standard Qi charging. It's not as efficient. Like there's all
Yeah.
those kind of problems with it, and I know most of these products are safe, but it always makes me super cautious when using any of these faux MagSafe products
Yeah.
because not just because so most of the ones out there they're just fine using Qi, but because
Right.
there are magnets, they cannot be Qi certified. So any of those products out there that are like connect magnetically, they are not Qi certified. So they're not Qi certified. They're not Apple certified. There's no one checking those things other than the company. So you have to really trust the companies that they're coming from before you slap them on your phone. And some of these are coming from like case manufacturers, and I'm like, your like thing is cases, not like electronics. So this uncertified product makes me a little nervous to test. So like yeah, I always go regular MagSafe for a lot of reasons, if at all
Yeah.
possible. But it's just hard for 6 for cable.
I feel like uncertified product should be like a French insult where you say like uncertified product. You like spit and slap the guy's face. I like that. So yeah, I'm not down with that. But this other Mophie MagSafe accessory, this looks pretty sweet, and I may get one of these to replace a MagSafe Duo because it's basically Apple's MagSafe Duo with a third pad to charge some AirPods. This is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So again, so this guy, it's supposed to be a travel charger. So it is
Right.
3 different sections, and it's able to roll up into a single little package, which can then slip into a carrying case that you can take with you.
Which is
And I
included, it looks
don't,
like.
yeah, the carrying case, the cable, and the power adapter are all included. So this guy is
Yes.
running you $150, which if you're, I don't know, it still seems like a lot too, but
I mean, the MagSafe Duo is 130, does not include a charging brick nor a case, and its durability was suspect. You know, when that first came out, I think we actually did a test of like how many times you could fold it and unfold it, which I still use my MagSafe Duo whenever I travel, which is not often, so I can't really judge the durability. But for $20 more, you can get a third pad to charge AirPods, plus you get a carrying case, the brick, and the cable. Like Mophie actually included all. It gives you 15 watts of charging for your iPhone. Does not give you that Apple Watch Series 7 fast charging. Mophie didn't say anything, so we're assuming it's just the regular charging. Which, if you're traveling, I mean, actually, it would be useful to have fast charging sometimes when you're traveling. But if you were between a MagSafe Duo and something else, this seems like a good alternative for that. But it's not cheap. Not cheap.
yeah, I agree. I really like the fabric they have on the back. I don't love
Yeah.
the black top. It looks kind of a little cheaper with just like steps of black everywhere. Not my favorite like top down appearance, but I like that it has like that heathered gray fabric on the back.
Yeah.
And it's nice they can include a travel case, maybe a little bulky, but it's a good little setup for traveling. I know a lot of people who travel have kind of like kit bags or something that they take, and this wouldn't fit in my kit bag. So I'd have to like have
Right.
my bag of like little gear, and then I have to have this on the side. So these are very specific problems to me. But I think it's really neat. I think my biggest problem with it is it doesn't have the Apple Watch fast charging. We know Apple is licensing that out. We've seen it out of Belkin's latest Apple Watch Series 7 fast charger. And I basically require that fast charger at this point because I do wear my watch around the clock. And every time I throw it on an old charger, it feels like it is so slow. I'll come back. I'm like, how did it move 10%? It should be so much further. Drives me crazy. And I hate buying a new product for $150 that you're going to have for a while, and it doesn't have the fast charge module.
That is a good point. And, I was not expecting to love the Apple Watch fast charging as much as I do, because now I got that Belkin 3-in-1, that flat, 3-in-1 charger for like a nightstand, and it has the Apple Watch fast charging. And my goodness, I know it's just 33% faster supposedly, but it seems significantly faster, like way faster. It really
seems more.
And maybe it's because
another video. I gotta do a video on how fast they charge or something.
Oh yeah, I think you should, because I didn't use the like Apple Watch puck to charge my Apple Watch. I used the old Belkin tree charger. So I don't know if maybe that tree charger was even slower than like a standalone
puck. It should
puck.
be standard.
Should be the same.
That's the Apple module, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speed. But man, it feels so fast. Like I almost race it sometimes, because like you, I wear it at night to track sleep. And so I only charge it in the morning when I'm getting ready, and at night for if I'm watching something, I'll put it on there for like 30 minutes to an hour. And I almost race to see like, can I get ready before this thing fully charges? And I no longer can. Like it fully charges super fast. So I love it. I'm glad for that.
Samesies. Like I need that fast charger, and it drives me crazy whenever I throw it on a slow one. So...
Yeah, well, it's a cool option, this Mophie. If you got a Series 6 or older Apple Watch, then it might not matter to you. But if you can get some fast charging Apple Watch stuff, man, it's tasty. I don't know why I said tasty. I kind of wanted to use I don't know. That was weird.
That was weird. Anyway, everyone feels weird. Awkward for having to listen to that.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay. Well, I wanted to touch on my new house, because it is at the stage now. I actually met with the electrician yesterday to put outlets where I wanted them for like TVs on the wall. And I have an office where I'll be doing this kind of stuff with like, the podcast and all that. And I had him put in like 1,000 outlets, because I didn't want to get in there and wish I had an outlet somewhere. So I actually have outlets up high, maybe like for a light or whatever. And then I obviously have outlets down low. But I'm now in the stage where I'm going to be running Ethernet cable and speaker wire myself everywhere. And I've been asking some people on Twitter wrote in, which was very helpful. So I'm going to be doing Cat 6 everywhere. And it should be plenty fine. Have I talked about my internet situation there on the show?
I don't know.
So just real quick, there's no fiber, like Frontier Fiber or any kind of fiber internet out there, because this is in a rural area. So I know there's nothing like that out there. I asked. And so I called the cable internet company, which is Spectrum down here in Central Florida, because I was like, well, they're everywhere. And so I called them, gave them the address to the new house, and they said, we don't service your area. And my heart sank, and I said, what? And they were like, yeah, we don't see anything in like a several mile radius to this new house, so bye. And I was like, I just didn't even think. I just assumed that Spectrum cable would be everywhere. So I called back again, because when you get a different customer service person, you can get a different story sometimes. So I called back again, and I said, can you send somebody out to do a survey? Because there's other houses on the street. Like there's a house across the street, like not very far away. And I assume these houses who have been there for decades have internet. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's just a bunch of old people that just don't do internet. I don't know. But I said, please send someone out, do a survey. I need to know. So waiting on that survey to see if I will have internet at this new house. Otherwise, there is cellular coverage. I don't know if I'm going to have to do some weird like Verizon, house hotspot thing. Or I did put myself on the waiting list for Starlink, which is Elon Musk's satellite deal. And they said Starlink would be available in my area like early to mid this year. So we'll see. I mean, I might be hotspotting from my phone to do this podcast. I'm not sure, which is not a situation I want. So I'm basically running Ethernet in faith that this house will have internet someday. So anyway, hoping for that. But I'm running Ethernet. I'm running Cat6 everywhere. And someone tweeted at me, I forget who it was, that Snazzy Labs, Quinn Nelson, he has several videos on wiring his house. He had an older home that he retrofitted with Ethernet everywhere and a Wi-Fi network. And so I watched his videos. Those were very helpful. And so I think rather than use my Linksys Velop Wi-Fi routers, which will go up for sale if I do this in that case, but I think I'm going to do the Ubiquity line of products for the house. And here's why. Ubiquity is a company that you can get like consumer Wi-Fi stuff, but they're really more for commercial like businesses and offices. I've actually installed Ubiquity stuff in businesses, and it's like managed networks, and it's not as user friendly, but you can get a powerful Wi-Fi network from it. And looking at their products, they have a network switch for like $350 that does power over Ethernet. And then you can get Wi-Fi 6 access points that are ceiling mounted. They're like domes. If you're listening, I'll put the chapter art as one of these dome Wi-Fi things, but you can ceiling mount it. And it's just $100 or $150 for a long range one for one of these Wi-Fi 6 access points, which, you know, if you're looking at a Linksys Velop or some of those other ones, those are pretty expensive. And so these are cheaper access points, but you do have to get like the power over Ethernet deal, because these access points don't plug into the wall. They don't plug into an outlet. They get their power over Ethernet. So I would just run an Ethernet cable to every point where I want that Wi-Fi router or access point, and I don't need power. I can just run the Ethernet, and then the Ubiquity switch that has PoE, power over Ethernet, can power those access points. Snazzy did it in his house, and so I think I'm going to actually do that, mount them in the ceiling, because I was going to do weird, like maybe put a shelf thing in a corner of a room up high and put the Linksys Velop on there. And I'm like, I can just mount these in the ceiling and be done with it, or on a wall. They also have ones that like plug into outlets or whatever if you don't want to mount stuff on the wall. So I think I'm going to go Ubiquity. Andrew, have you ever had any experience or ever considered doing the Ubiquity route?
Yeah, I like the Ubiquity stuff. I've used it a few times, like not those specific ones. But no, I've had no problems with their stuff before. Like, they were solid, they were reliable, they were, like you said, a little more less user friendly than, you know, maybe the Linksys is. My thing is, I would be surprised that anyone would be buying a router when all the 6E stuff on the horizon. I guess this is kind of goes in our news section, but it looks like Eero is about to drop some new Wi-Fi 6E devices. There's both the Eero 6E and the Eero 6E Pro. And that could be the biggest update to Wi-Fi in a really, really long time, because it's opening up a whole new band of spectrum for your devices to communicate on. And we could just see some crazy speeds on networks. So I'm for sure not doing anything to my network until... And I know right now there's really limited support, but hopefully we're going to actually get Apple updating more devices to 6E later this year. They're usually relatively quick with some of the Wi-Fi stuff. Like, sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're slow. So we'll have to see which one they play with this time. But we did see several Wi-Fi 6E devices at CES. And, I mean, even at $179 or $150 for those modules, kind of adds up. And if you already have devices, I mean, you could always run the PoE stuff and use that as your switch, but then still use your Linksys until even Ubiquity comes out with 6E modules. Like, of course they're going to do that eventually.
And I do have an inside guy who works in like IT stuff, and he said Ubiquity should be releasing the 6E soon-ish. So, but again, like, if they're $100, you know, I could maybe take one of the Wi-Fi 6s, put it on the outside, like, because I thought about putting one access point on the outside of the house to cover like the backyard, just because, and also maybe even one on the front, because I want to have like security cameras out there and stuff. So I could, you know, move the 6E then. But anyway, I hope so. Hope it comes out soon and I can do that. If I'm running Starlink satellite internet, the Wi-Fi speed inside is going to be like That's not the stopgap. The Wi-Fi 6 is going to be plenty fast to move my 20 megabit connection. So we'll see about that.
Hey,
But
we just heard this week that Verizon had just announced a big update to its in-home 5G
oh, really?
services. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be Googling that because that might be my internet. Sheesh. I can't tell you. Like, I wish I had a picture of my face when that Spectrum person told me that. I was just like, disbelief.
Man, the first person who was ever disappointed they couldn't have Spectrum.
I know, because right now, the house I'm at now, it's going to be a big adjustment because they have fiber here. Like, we just got Frontier. We got 1,000 down and up, a gigabit up and down. And we'll be going to Starlink. Which is, listen, it's amazing technology. And if it's my only hope, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, great. You know, no dissing Starlink. I'm going to have to, like, build a 40-foot pole to put this thing on because there are trees around the house. And from what I've read about Starlink, if a leaf blows in front of the dish, like, you lose internet access. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. I'm looking at this Verizon home thing, and you can get $70 a month, powered by 5G, Wi-Fi 6 router included, but I do not see like what the data cap is, because that would be my concern. Like, how much data can you use?
I honestly don't know.
Well, I mean, this might be the deal. So anyway, I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting. So in addition to the Ubiquiti stuff, which again, if any listeners have experience with the Ubiquiti, I thank you for those who send me those videos. I think that's the route I'm going to go with. But I'm also going to be doing speakers in a couple rooms for like home theater style setups. I was actually in Best Buy yesterday because I was like, do I want to do sound bars in some rooms? And they had the Sonos Arc. Mm-hmm. That's the long one, right? That's the big one. And so I listened to that. Man, that thing sounds good. Like, that Sonos Arc sounds very good. They had like little rainforest surround sound virtualizing in the store. I was like, shoot, I'm like in an open, huge store, and I still feel like this is good surround. The subwoofer is like literally $1 million. So I don't know if I want to get the subwoofer.
It's like $300 or $600. I think I thought it was like $300. Is it or is
no?
it
It's like $700 because. Yeah. I saw the sound bar was like $800 or something, and then the subwoofer was like right next to it, and I was like, sheesh. I mean, that's expensive for
I do not have the subwoofer. I just have the Arc by itself.
And does it sound pretty good on the low end, even just that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I might just
This thing is still big. And it almost like scares us when we're watching something and all of a sudden we're like, there are sirens outside. Nope, they're coming from behind the characters on the TV.
It literally sounded that good. So I might do that for a bedroom, but there's definitely 2 rooms where I'm going to be doing in-ceiling and in-wall speakers. So I was doing some research, looking up HomeKit receivers, all that. What I would love to know from listeners, like speaker wire gauge. I think I just try to go for like the thickest because it's going to be in the wall and stuff. If I'm wrong there, let me know. Tweet at me. But also the in-wall and in-ceiling speakers, I've seen there's lots of different ones out there. I went to Best Buy again, and they had like their Magnolia home theater section where they have like a butler with a towel on his arm waiting there, and they say, hey, entree, monsieur. And then they show you like $8,000 receivers, and I'm like, I'm in the wrong section. I'm not buying an $8,000 receiver. But they have like in-ceiling speakers that are like $900 a piece, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. And elsewhere, you can get like Polk audio speakers, $150 for like a pair. And so, I mean, that's what I'm going to be going with because I'm not doing $900 a speaker. So if anyone has experience with either like the Polk audio, I know Yamaha's out there, Klipsch is one of the brands of in-ceiling speakers. And then I even saw Monoprice. I bought cables from them because monoprice.com, they have great just cables, USB-C cables, USB-C to lightning cables, braided cables. They actually sell a bunch of in-wall and in-ceiling speakers, and they're just Monoprice branded. They're, again, like that same $150 for pairs of 8-inch rounds. And so I'm thinking maybe I just get everything from them. They also have in-wall sub, which I understand it's not going to be as good of a subwoofer as like a standalone box sitting in your living room, but an in-wall sub is pretty attractive for one of the rooms that I'm looking at. So if anyone has any kind of experience with any of these like in-wall, in-ceiling, in-wall subs, all that kind of stuff, tweet at me. I tried YouTubing this kind of stuff, and there's like a bunch of big AV companies, and they're like, here's a home theater room with, luxury recliners and 18 speakers. And I'm like, that's cool, but that's not helping me in like this little like living room where I'm just going to do a 5.1. Like I just need like the basics. So yeah, if listeners have any experience with that, Andrew, I don't know if you've ever done stuff like that or have experience there either.
Yeah, I've done a lot of these in-wall, mounted on-wall with just the wires in-wall, all sorts of fun things. And my always thing that I ran up against was when some people wanted to get they wanted to get cheaper speakers, but they wanted them in the walls. And it drove me crazy because it was like, we can get you such better speakers that, I don't know. It feels like if you're doing them in wall, you kind of want like a good setup, like you want them positioned and all that stuff. And then they were cheaping out on the actual speakers that were going in there. And I was like,
yeah. Well, and I know like the left and right fronts and the center, I might get nicer speakers for those because that's dialogue, that's a majority of the stuff, and maybe just the surrounds, I go with cheaper. But I'm trying to do this in like 2 different rooms, and so that they can't spend like thousands of dollars on the speakers. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any brands that you worked with that you thought were good, but
I
budget
liked Klipsch most of the time. I mean, for me, I didn't go in wall just because I couldn't do in wall for most of it. But I really liked the Klipsch ones, so I got like a set of good bookshelf speakers. They were probably $400 maybe for like a pair. So I think I first started off with just a center and 2 fronts, and then later on, like a year or so down the line, I ended up buying a second set for the back, which was overkill for the back rear speakers. But sometimes I wouldn't do surround sound. Sometimes I would do stereo surround sound, like with the act where your dialogue is coming out of all the speakers versus just your front center. Like if you just wanted to be able to hear better. So like in our college house, like living room, like we just want to be able to hear from wherever we are. So we're in the corner of the room playing it water games or something like that. Like we still want to be able to hear what someone's saying, the dialogue is through the speaker in the corner. So we basic things like that, but I like the Klipsch ones. I mean, you can't. I played with a set of Polk ones that were these little monsters. They were nice, and there was these Sonys that were insane. This is a while ago now, so stuff has changed. But they were 2 tiny little Sonys, and they like little cubes, they like stacked on top of each other, and they were not in wall. They were like on poles, but they sounded amazing, and they were so tiny. Those things had to have been expensive. I just handled the install and stuff on those. And I was like, holy crap, these speakers are bonkers. They were really neat.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Man. Okay. Well, listeners, send me your recommendations. I hope for a flood of tweets so I know, because it's happening. Like the electrician goes in Monday. As you listen to this episode, the electrician is doing his stuff. He said, don't do your stuff until I do my stuff. I don't want to mess with your stuff. So, okay. So the electrician's going to be working today as you listen for the next few days, and then it's me. And then I'm going in there in like 3 days, running Ethernet cable everywhere. Like it's going to be a spaghetti of Ethernet cable. I'm going to be labeling everything. And then I'm going to do speaker wire too. So yeah, help me out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be running Ethernet to every Apple TV, every access point, every home theater receiver. I'm going to be running it to places I might want them in like 10 years just because. Like I'm going to run it in the fireplace. I'm going to run it in the bathroom. I'm going to run it in closets. Who knows? I'm going to just put it everywhere. Probably not in the bathrooms, but anyway.
Do they finally have? Hold on, I was looking here. Okay,
stay on target.
I was waiting. They finally updated the Ethernet on the Apple TV because it was like the 10100 port. They didn't have gigabit on the Apple TVs for a while, and it drove me crazy. Because you could basically get faster Wi-Fi speeds over
the hardwired.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna have to worry about gigabit where I am because I just need to worry about megabit. I just need a megabit.
Despite your internet woes aside, if you do have any local streaming, if you're streaming from your phone to your Apple TV, anything like that is still on your local network, and you want as much throughput as you can.
That's true. That's a good point. That's true. I was also looking at universal remotes because, again, a moment of silence for the Logitech Harmony line, which they killed. That's it. That's all you get. They have these like crazy expensive home theater type stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to, it seems so complicated. So that's why I'm really trying to lean on HomeKit, try and find receivers that are HomeKit where they can just switch automatically and I don't have to mess with anything. So
what do you need your universal remote to do? Like, are you going to have cable or something? Or are you just sticking with Apple TVs?
It's Apple TV, like Nintendo Switch, and maybe plan for like a Blu-ray deal. And so if the HomeKit can switch the inputs, they also there's a Denon app, which I have a Denon receiver from the old house that I'll be using in one of the rooms. I could probably just use the Denon app. The Denon one doesn't have HomeKit, but there might be a couple places where I'm putting the receiver like away from the TV. And so I just want to know I can mess with it without having it in the room kind of deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So basically I don't know. I have not done this again in a little while because I ditched my receiver because I no longer have any other inputs except for my PlayStation and my Apple TV. But there are receivers that should be able to use like the CEC to automatically switch inputs. So that's how mine used to work. I didn't have to switch inputs. I would just turn on the device I was using. My television would turn on, the receiver would turn on, switch to the input that was actually powered. What do you need the remote for? Usually the universal remote was for controlling your cable box as well as controlling your Apple TV or something. But if you're just using your Switch and your Apple TV, it should just be whatever you turned on becomes active, and you shouldn't need to buy a universal remote.
That should be the case. And so, yes, hopefully. And at the very least, the Denon app lets you control the receiver just over the network. And so, worst come to worst, I could just do that.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about different, like you could probably set up a Siri shortcut with one of those, like a SwitchBot thing or something that'll send the IR command to your receiver to switch inputs that way. So that could be an option.
That's a good point. Well, I'll be taking pictures and video as I wire this house. You'll see me on ladders, running Ethernet cable, hopefully not falling off. And it'll be a lot of fun. So tweet at me. Any thoughts you guys have on that? And we have a Wemo stage review, but before that, we should thank our friends, our good friends. First sponsor of the year, Nebia.
Spectrum Cable. Oh, sorry, Nebia.
No, if Spectrum comes to my house, I wouldn't plug them for free. Because, their service is still kind of meh. But anyway, no, that's Spectrum. We're not talking about Spectrum. We're talking about Nebia, the incredible shower company that I have multiple of their showers, the Quattro, the Nebia by Mo and Spa shower. If you have not heard of Nebia yet, first of all, it's time to come out of the cave. You have to hear about Nebia because they are amazing. They were started by engineers from like Apple, I was going to say TASA, Apple, NASA, and Tesla engineers. Tim Cook was one of the first investors into Nebia. And Nebia, their whole mission is to save water while you shower, but they offer an incredible shower experience while they do it. By saving water, they still have an 81% more powerful spray than the competition, and it can be installed in 15 minutes or less. I installed my own Nebia by Moen spa shower and the Quattro. I had never installed a shower before, and I was able to do it super quick, super easy. They give you all the parts and the instructions to do it, and it feels great. I love the Nebia by Moen spa shower because it's height adjustable. My kids love that one because they'll pull it down for them. Plus, you have the magic wand that you can use as a little attachment, which is cool. I actually really like their Quattro shower too, which has 4 different shower spray settings. They have like high pressure settings and all that. Plus it comes off the head. It's like magnetically attached, so you can use it as like a wand thing. If you're not watching the podcast, you should see me on YouTube. Go to HomeKit, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider, and I'm waving my hand around because this is what I do in the shower with that. So you should definitely try that.
If you want a video of Steven showering, go to YouTube.
No. It's not that. Careful, very careful. No, not that. I'm acting it out as though miming. I'm miming it. The Nebia showers come in beautiful finishes like white and chrome, spot resistant nickel, matte black, black and chrome. And again, it's just fun to take a shower. What is one of your fun or features that you like about the Nebia showers?
There are a lot of things to like about it. My biggest thing is I love that it's actually the easiest way to describe it is like that it's a spa-like experience because you have like your shower going on, but it's like steamy and warm like everywhere in your shower. Like it makes your whole shower warm and comfortable. I used to like you'd step out of the stream of water and then it's like freezing, and it's like, no, this actually makes everything nice and warm. It also can help you, because it does help you save water. It can help like your hot water heater last a little longer. I swear we get like more hot water out of it because it runs for a longer period of time by conserving water. So those things are great. It's such a cool shower, and it looks really neat. Like it looks techy and cool, and it doesn't look like your traditional shower head.
That's right. So the Nebia by Moen Spa Shower starts at just $199, and for HomeKit Insider listeners, we have a deal for you. You go to Nebia.com/HomeKit and use the promo code HomeKit, all one word, at checkout to get 10% off all Nebia products. That's Nebia, Nebia.com/HomeKit. And Nebia doesn't usually do sales, but they've partnered with us for a long time, and this is a great deal to jump on. So again, go to Nebia.com/HomeKit. That's Nebia.com/HomeKit. Check out what they have to offer and save 10% with promo code HomeKit. And speaking of HomeKit devices, there was an update to the Wemo stage controller. I know you like that, Andrew. You like that transition. Tell me about the Wemo stage controller. I saw you had a article go up on that.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the stage for literally entirely of 2022 at this point. Every week. We've got an update. All 3 weeks.
Yes.
Because we first talked about that they had announced it, as well as some other stuff at CES. They had announced that the Wemo stage was finally getting its long-awaited Thread update. Then last week, I was like, hey, Thread update is officially like rolling out and blah, blah, blah. And now here we are this week. And yes, the Thread update did fully roll out. So everyone should be able to check for the latest version to get the firmware. And since we've had it for a few days now, we did a review, because when the Wemo stage originally came out, we didn't review it. I was like, this thing is too awful to review, which wasn't Belkin's problem, but HomeKit Buttons in general. So before that, backing up, updating your remote. So this thing is done entirely through the Home app, which I think is amazing. You don't need the Wemo app at all, and it doesn't just happen in the background. It's done through the Home app. So find the Wemo stage in the Home app, and it should, when it connects, it'll automatically tell you if there's an update or not. You're looking for version 2.9.6, I want to say, which is the one that brings the Thread capabilities. And once you've got Thread, give it some time to breathe, because anytime you program a HomeKit button, if you play with HomeKit buttons, you may know this, it's not always instant. It's got to propagate through the system and everything. It's got to find your Thread network, find the best route for it to connect to on that end. So it's not going to be instant. Just because you have the update installed, do not like check your button commit and be like, is it faster? Oh, that still took 5 minutes to do anything. It might take a minute for everything to go through. But I swear, once this thing got Thread, it was crazy. I posted a little video on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, Steven, but how fast it changes your lights and stuff is crazy. Like, it is just so fast. It's like you're hitting a physical light switch and changing your lights. So the problem with HomeKit buttons is all HomeKit buttons are typically Bluetooth, and they've been meh at best. All of them. None seem to really work that great. We've had some that are like, bunch of buttons or little, like the 2 buttons. We had like the Logitech Pop that lived for like a year or so before they completely discontinued that. We had the Eve button, but even on the show, we reported some issues going on with the Eve button that were underlying HomeKit issues. And even Eve was saying that a Thread-enabled button would fix a lot of the problems that are running into with HomeKit buttons. Well, now we have our first HomeKit button that works over Thread. So the Wemo stage also, there's 3 physical buttons down the front, and each of these used to correspond to, I believe it was 2 presses. I swear this was a thing, and I feel like someone's going to correct me. I'll feel stupid. But when I was looking at this before the Thread update, I thought there was 2 controls for each button. There was a press and a long press for each button. So like 6 total commands for the Wemo stage. With the new Thread update, they've added another button control to each of them. So you have a single press, a double press, and a long press. So you can theoretically set up just 9 different commands for the Wemo stage. A couple possibilities of this, because you don't want to get overwhelmed. A button is only going to be good if you can actually use it, and if you're like don't know what does what, it's going to get really confusing. So
Right.
for my bedroom, we have like 3 windows. It is 1 press to open the window blinds, double press to open them to our favorite position, which is like 60% open, just a little bit closed, and then a long press to close them. Each button corresponds to a different window. For like a room with lighting, you could use this for like one could be like on, 2 presses could set a light to 50%, and a third hold could turn those lights off. So you could set them into different groups for a room and make it easy that way. If you wanted to get really complicated with this, and we've talked about this, Apple doesn't have toggle features in HomeKit. It's stupid, but they don't. So if like you press it once to turn on the light, you'd want to press it again to turn off the same light. It just seems natural, but it don't work like that with HomeKit. Instead, you'd have to create a conditional, and you'd have to go and say, when the button's pressed once, check if the light is on. If it is on, turn it off. If off, turn it on. So you can create a ton of conditionals that way to do more advanced scene control. So you could always set it to like 1 press is one color, 2 presses another color, and a third hold is another color. And each of them will just do that conditional, check if it's on or off before performing an action. You could also get fun. I'm glad we have a spot to talk about this, because I feel like on the basic Apple Insider review, most people are kind of going to use it for the basic stuff, but I know our audience is going to want to do the more advanced things. So I was kind of playing around with this fun control, Steven. I think you'll appreciate this. For a conditional for a button, and it works best with this one because the thread is so fast, I wanted to be able to cycle through a light at 25% intervals, because I felt 25% seemed right. A good amount of distance between the colors. And so I had like the first button, and I repeated it for the different commands for different colors, but just the basic press will cycle through the light brightness at 25%. It's first going to check if it's, at 100% brightness. And if it is at 100%, it's going to next drop it to 75. If it's at 75, it'll drop it to 50. If it's at 50, drop to 25. If 25, it'll turn it off. If there's any other value, it'll set it to off, and it's if it is off, it'll go back up to 100%. So in effect, what you get is just cycling through the light at 25% intervals. So you press it once and it goes down, hit it again, goes down, hit it again, goes down again, hit it again, goes back up to 100. And I do have the catch-all. If there's any other value, it will turn it off. So that way it's at least getting back into the cycle of doing that. You end up like pressing the button a few more times if you wanted to like get it to a specific something versus a dial, but it's a really easy way to like cycle through the brightnesses of your light. So there's some really cool stuff you can do, and I feel like I just have my eyes open now of this new control, because I've tried so many HomeKit buttons and none have worked great, and I end up with more smart wall switches than anything, but this is just so fast and you can move it anywhere. There is a wall plate that it comes with. It attaches onto your wall, but it has a standard Aqara faceplate, so you can take that off and put on any style of faceplate that you like that matches your house. And the little Wemo stage just magnetically sits into there, so you can keep it on the wall and use it as another physical switch for your room, or pick it up, take it with you, and use it wherever you're at. So I love this thing. I think this is so cool. The thread update has been a game changer. I'll try to overlay my video, if I remember earlier in here as we're talking about it, so you can actually see the demo of how fast the thread update is, but it was so slow before that it was just barely usable. I did not use this thing for the past like a year that we've had it. I'm pretty excited. This has been a good update.
Man, now I kind of want this thing because you can set it to fire off a shortcut.
Anything in HomeKit, yeah. Fire off a shortcut. You can literally you can convert your button commands to Siri shortcut commands, or shortcut commands, and do whatever you want. Control. You don't have to do just lights or fans or shades. I mean, your heaters or whatever else you got going on in your home. Any shortcuts.
Okay, ready? Here we go. I'm going to go to the Belkin website. I have it pulled up right here. And It's processing. I'm going to confirm on my phone. And yeah, there we go. Just bought it. Because here's why. I have never tried a HomeKit button. I've never had a dedicated button. You've been talking about this Wemo controller a lot, and it's been tempting. But now realizing that it could fire off all that shortcut type stuff, my kids, I created a shortcut where it like started some music on a HomePod and shut off lights or whatever. But for some reason, the shortcut will not fire with them saying the command words. Like, it just refuses to do it. It'll do it maybe like 1 out of 10 times. And also my 5-year-old, like, she can't really speak clear enough, I think, to get it to fire. So I'm like, she can literally just click one of these buttons and fire off the thing. Like, doesn't have to talk to Siri. Doesn't even have to talk to the HomePod. Just press one button and it takes care of it. And then program the other things in it. I just realized this thing might be very useful. So, yeah, there it is. I just got the confirmation email. It'll be here in 3 to 7 business days. I will say Amazon, it's like out of stock, it looks like. It says February 3rd through 8th is the earliest delivery. So I'll put the Amazon link in there. Maybe it'll be different when you guys check it, listeners. But you can also buy it from Belkin's website directly. So, yeah, I'll try it out, let you know.
Nice.
Boom.
Of course.
Yeah, very cool. No, it's very cool. Very cool. All right, well, maybe we could squeeze in a couple listener questions and things that they have sent in over the past couple weeks before we wrap up. So, first of all, Angel Vargas, he actually sent us this tweet a while ago. We had talked about, like, HomeKit doors, like, what is a HomeKit door? And then there was that thing at CES, that like that modular door that basically has spaces for smart locks and doorbell cameras or whatever. And so he sent this door via Twitter. This is the Masonite M-Power Smart Door that integrates with smart locks, Ring doorbell, and more. And so this is like one of the first smart doors. Like, it's a whole door, which again, it's a little weird because it's really like just multiple smart devices in a door. Like, the door itself doesn't like open by itself. It's not automatic doors. I don't know, but I thought it was cool. We'll put that link in show notes so you can look at it. The smart door. There you go. Then a listener, Caleb Alexander, sent me an email. He's actually listening from Germany, which is awesome. We have listeners all over the world. We had talked about the Eve button and how the Eve button was kind of messing up and a little unreliable. He actually repaired his own Eve button. He sent a picture with like the Eve button all taken apart, and he fixed it all himself. So kudos to you, Caleb. Nice job fixing your own Eve button. That's pretty slick. And then Machete on Twitter said, thanks for all the HomeKit info. My question is it possible to set hue motion sensor to turn on a specific bulb if light sensing, like 1 lux, and turn off the same bulb if it goes up to 4 lux? Thanks in advance. So the Philips Hue motion sensor also has a light sensor, so you can see the lux settings. But when I looked, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, I don't know if you can actually do automations based on like lux, based on light settings. I'll go one more time to try it, but if you add automation, sensor detects something, I can choose the motion thing. I'm choosing my hue motion. The only options I see are detects motion and stops detecting motion, and I'm in the stock Home app. I'm not using like Home Plus or anything to see. And, oh, wait a minute. Sensor detects something. Hue motion sensor. Oh, I can choose the light separately. Oh my goodness! Yeah, you can do all this. Yep, you totally can. Yeah.
I was checking in
yeah.
Sorry, I was checking in like the Home Plus and Eve apps. So I was like, maybe it's not a thing in the actual Home app, but you can do it in the other ones for sure.
Yeah, and it's just it splits it out into multiple cards. Which I was looking at the motion sensor card, and yeah, if you go to that room, like when you start an automation, you can choose the lux sensor instead of the motion, and you can totally do the kind of automations you're talking about. So, yes.
You just want to make sure you don't get into a loop where motion is saying like, okay, it is low, turn it up. Oh, now it's bright, turn it down, and it just goes into a circle. So make sure you got either wait commands or make sure that light isn't tripping the sensor itself or something like that.
Right. Very cool. All right. Thanks, Machete. And then Travis Herntier I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but we were talking about smart garage door openers and things like that, and he mentioned this brand. We may have said them before on past episodes, but iSmartGate, just the letter I, smartgate.com. They have smart garage door openers. They also have smart gates, which I think we talked about gates a while ago, and maybe you mentioned it then. But I forgot about this brand. So if you're looking for garage door openers, we've talked about the MyQ Chamberlain. We've talked about the Maris garage door opener that I have. This is another option, and I'll put the link in show notes if you're curious. And one of the other questions was from Mark on Twitter, looking for a new garage door opener that supports HomeKit. Any suggestions? This. iSmartGate. I'll put the link in show notes. And, of course, you have the Maris one and the MyQ from Chamberlain for garage door, which is like the whole garage door thing. The Maris is kind of like an add-on. You can splice it into a current garage door opener. And then this iSmartGate is actually a different method of putting it in. So I'll put those in show notes. Max Cats. That's a fun name to say. Max Cats.
If he does not have some sort of cat-based business, I would be Matt Cats.
Exactly. That'd be amazing. So he is asking again about security system and alarm options, which we've talked about this many times before. I will have experience with Abode once I get in the new house, because that's what I was planning to use for my home security system. But usually we recommend Abode. He was asking about Scout Alarm, which is something that you would have to use with Homebridge. He was saying, should I use Scout Alarm with Hoobs? Again, my feeling, I really want to go with native HomeKit for a security system over Homebridge, just because of the nature of the device and what it's doing. But yeah, Andrew, did you have any other thoughts on that? You still think Abode's a good option?
Abode is still a great option, but Max Katz says that he already has the Scout. I'm a tinkerer. I might try to do instead of buying Hoobs completely done, you can do the download copy. So you are out the money of like a Raspberry Pi to put it on, but you can download and install and do like the Hoobs thing without buying everything. It is easier just to buy it, have it done, and just plug it in and you're good to go. But if you kind of want to tinker around, since you already have the Scout, it might not be bad to try to do the Hoobs way just to see how it performs. And if you run into anything, throw it to the side and go get an Abode.
Daring suggestion from Andrew O'Hara. So there you go. We just have a few more, and we will save it for next time because we had more come in even this week, but wanted to get to some of those. So, listeners, tweet at us. I want to know your home theater, your speaker stuff. If you have more Ethernet, Wi-Fi suggestions for a new home, I'd love to hear it. Let us know what projects you got going on, and check out Andrew talking about the stage controller. We'll put links to that. And the what was the other thing you did? Did you do another review recently?
I did a video review of the Wemo. We were very on the fence about whether or not to do a video of the Belkin Wemo video doorbell, and we still had more questions coming in. There's a lot of questions on the site, so while we still had it early, figured, heck, why not? And it gives us a better chance to show some demo footage of how large it is in comparison to others. Like I have like the Natamo and the Arlo right here. You can see the Wemo is basically the same size. In fact, a little smaller than both of these. But then I also have some good sample footage, both day and night sample footage that you guys can check out and watch me arrive at the house.
Very cool. Well, that link will be in show notes as well. Don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. You can watch the episodes there. If you haven't yet, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. Several of you did that recently. We appreciate that. And I don't think, was that it? Did someone else plug? That was just musical ending? No? Jazz hands? All right. We
need to end this before you just keep going.
Catch you next time.